Ready for another round? It's Brewsday Tuesday. Here's Drez and Big Nate.
And Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Josh is here.
Oh, what a glorious sound. It really is. Every time. I love it. Brewsday Tuesday, round two with Josh right here on 105.3 The Bear. Brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg. I tell you what, I got a feeling I might like this one a little better than the last one.
I hope you might.
So, am I correct? I mean, I almost didn't want to look at the label too much. I wanted to be a bit surprised, but so is this. So this is from the Bruery, which for those that don't know, the Bruery does just a lot of crazy, just off the wall stuff.
Very much so.
And with the style of this beer being 3 lines long, I think that goes to show you it's just an idea, maybe an example.
Should have chosen a smaller font.
So this is a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. All those words are very good, especially together.
Yeah,
with
very important.
Cocoa nibs, coca powder, Madagascar vanilla beans, and cinnamon. It's 10.5%. Now, here's the thing. Do you speak Spanish?
No, very little.
Do you have an idea?
I think it's abuelita.
Abuelita's special. I'll give that to you.
That would be little grandmother.
And it looks as if this is in a collaboration with Trejo's Coffee and Donuts. And
Machete don't text.
I was gonna say, and yes, it is that Trejo, Danny Trejo. I didn't know that I guess
he does
got coffee and donuts.
A really good coffee. For Christmas, my dad got me a bag and a coffee mug with Danny Trejo's mug on there.
Oh, nice.
Well, did it look like that? Danny Trejo's right there.
It is exactly that logo.
Yeah, so there you go, man. So it's a Danny Trejo brewery collaboration, and it's barrel aged. Again, it's got the cocoa, the cinnamon, and all this stuff. I'm quite excited, and the fact that it's 10.5% to boot. Do I even need to pour it in my glass? Do I even need to drink it? I already know it's a 5. I can almost guarantee it, but of course we have to go through the typical protocol, which we actually were discussing during Danzig. You said that you usually untap a beer before you're finished. I like to wait till I'm done to really get a full round effect, but I do think there's the rule of 3. I feel like you need at least 3 sips to get a proper idea of a beer. You can't judge it on the first sip. Because it can change as you're drinking it.
I feel you what you're saying. Mine's more of a kind of starting the process. So, when I have that first sip, I've already, searched the beer up. If I need to, I'll add it to Untapped. Which also you can find me on Untapped if you care.
Oh, did you?
I did look. It's Joe Belch Forest, JOBELCH 4.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Little plug for myself there.
Yeah, but if you want some friends that you don't know, but
if you
could be future
friend
friends, you never know.
In your interest of drinking, you can find me there. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say I got a brewery like either a 6. I want to say it was a 6 or an 8-pack for Father's Day last year.
Like a variety.
Yeah, it had like that.
Man.
It had some in there that were like churro flavor. Adding to it.
I've never seen a brewery variety pack.
So
you're shopping at the wrong stores.
Well, apparently, I mean that's
targeted Facebook ads, man.
Yeah. There you go.
So they usually package them also with Offshoot. Offshoot they make a lot of different IPAs. I'm not crazy about Offshoot's beer in general, but the ones from the brewery tend to be more like pastry heavy stouts, and love it. I mean, it's like drinking dessert for me. So.
It is. You're right. That's exactly what it is. Mostly it's a dessert in a can with a high ABV, which is fantastic. Now, what about you fellas? What do you guys have over there? I have no idea.
Before we get to that, I want to ask you something about your process. If you know a beer is going to be like a 0.25, which I think is the lowest because you can't give a 0, will you finish the beer still before you untap it?
I usually do.
I'm just making sure.
I have to do at least 3 sips.
Okay.
But I normally would finish it. If it's a 0.25, I mean, I don't know. I could look up the statistics. I don't know if I've ever given that. I know we used to, jokingly kind of rate NA beers really low like that on the show and stuff, but I don't know if I've ever gave a beer a 0.25. That's pretty. That would have to be. I wouldn't finish that if it's
Okay.
a truly a 0.25.
I'm a
Just
bit of-
making sure.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a purist. I mean, I'm not going to name the brewery. Just I don't want to be that guy. But I have one that I did not enjoy a few months back, and honestly, like it's one where as soon as it hit my stomach, it made me like nauseous.
That bad? Like, do you think it was off?
I think it was off. I don't think it was the beer per se. I think maybe the lines were dirty. Maybe I don't know. I
So,
just
but then
know
you-
that as soon as I took a drink, I was like, oh, and even with that, I still took that second drink because I was like,
Nope,
"Is-
this still sucks.
yeah, I was like, is this what's making? No, that's what's making me sick. I have to go to the bathroom now because this is
So
coming
that-
back out.
Did it get a 0.25? I mean, surely you have to.
I didn't go that. I think even with that one, I went like a 3. And I think I don't even know if I was in my right mind at that point because I mean it literally made me
It was
lurch.
delirious.
At that point, I
Give
feel like
it a
it's almost your
3.
civic duty to let people know that
Yeah.
this
Don't
is.
drink this.
I mean, well, and of course,
By the
it might be
way,
circumstances
This
because
seems off. You
yeah,
might
you
wanna
have to. That's
avoid
what the
this.
comment section is for. If you're going to
Right.
rate a beer under a 3, you should say why.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Uh,
fully agree with you.
Because there's obviously a reason there. So okay, sorry. Continue. What you got over there? I mean, y'all's beers both look dark like mine.
Different varieties. So you go ahead, Nate. Tell
right.
us what you got.
This is the Hubbard's Cave El Zacaton. It's brewed at Une Annee Brewery in Niles, Illinois.
Yes, just outside of Chicago. Like half an hour outside.
It's imperial stout fermented on toasted oak with almond flour, cocoa powder, cinnamon sticks, vanilla beans, and my favorite ingredients: ancho chilies, guajillo chilies, and habanero.
That's a spicy stout of beer.
And it's 12%. So
Yeah, I was gonna say
pretty stoked.
all of these beers, I would imagine. I mean, I'm assuming yours is no different. That word imperial, if it has the word imperial, then I'm gonna want to drink it.
What was yours? A 10?
Yeah, 10.5.
I
Is
think
that the
you've-
baby of the
You've
group?
got the baby of the group.
Wow,
Because mine is also a 12.
nice. That's a
So-
good round, ladies and gentlemen.
I am drinking all I see is carrion.
Oh,
Yeah, out of Adroit Theory Brewing.
Joint theory.
This one is a Belgian style quad, and I toyed around with this one before, just kind of looking. This is one where they have a lot of different batches. So this particular one is Ghost 1341. They just name all the different variations, all the different batches of it that they do, something just different, random with numbers.
Hmm.
So
I like when they do that.
yeah, same.
What is it about breweries that are dark and like almost metalish? Burial, Abomination, A Joint Theory. It's just the best combination.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm drawn to it because I'm a metalhead, but like that just dark. They're all just so amazing.
I've heard Nate mention it on air before about like getting drawn in by artwork sometimes.
Mhm.
And for me, those tend to be some of the ones with some of the best artwork. I mean, this particular one has some screaming looking thing that looks like it's got souls trapped in its wings.
Yeah, show it on the Facebook Live. If you're
Yeah,
watching on Facebook or on YouTube, you can get an idea. These labels are.
Yeah.
A Joint Theory is definitely up there. In fact, I even
Right.
remember I have an A Joint Theory patch
Nice.
that I put on my like band, my band denim that I throw over the leather jacket when I go to metal shows.
Your battle jacket.
Battle jacket, thank you. And because it's right up there, it looks just like a metal band or something.
and
and I've
that's-
gotten multiple comments on it because
That's-
people will be
that's-
like, "What's A Joint Theory?" I'm like, "Dude, that's a brewery that's about as metal as they come."
Right. That is 100% what caught my attention with this can, was just seeing how cool the artwork was. I was like, ooh. And then I saw the description, saw the ABV. I was like, oh, well, definitely is drawing me in now. I was like, I got to pick one of those up.
I do love it, no doubt about it, man. So, I feel like we were talking about something else during Danzig that we wanted to bring up and discuss. Untapped, obviously, I know we delved into that a little bit, the untapping habits. And I forgot to mention, because you were at what, 3 something? I just crossed 5.5.
Yeah.
So my
Humble brag.
next milestone isn't going to be probably till 10,000 check-ins.
Well,
So-
I was upset because my 3,000 check-in wasn't anything special. So I just posted it on Facebook with a photo of it because I felt like I needed some attention.
So
And you got it.
There's
Almost
probably
as much as maybe you with the pizza on the side of the bathtub, which we, oh, by the way, we still got to think of a.
Yeah, well, I just called it my delivery, and all it was my fiance heated pizza up and brought it to me because I asked her nicely.
Well, that works pretty good.
Yeah, I tipped the delivery driver. It's fine.
it's not delivery, it's bathtub
Yeah,
pizza.
it's not delivery. It's me drinking in the bathtub. It's fine.
I mean, hey, I really I think you're gonna change my hygiene and self-care habits now.
Telling you, you're doing it wrong. It all
Yeah.
started out with waffles, but I think the first thing was waffles, and I was like,
You
what?
don't need to worry about the syrup mess
No,
because
you
you're
don't.
already
You're
in the
already in the bathtub. It's fine. I was like, waffles. I bet you that will pair great with like a nice barrel-aged stout.
Mhm.
Yes.
And then from there, I keep Pop-Tarts on hand because it's something quick I can grab on my way to work and eat in the car. So that
What Pop-Tarts are we doing? Strawberry
Man,
frosted?
I'll
What
do
are
them
you
all.
at?
The for me personally, my favorite's the iced the s'mores ones.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you're
S'mores
going,
are good.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
a good dessert one.
So I think I started then buying different Pop-Tarts.
Toasted or just plain out the
just
package?
plain out the pack.
Oh, you gotta
Just any-
toast it and get a glass of milk, and you gotta
No,
dip it in the
I don't know,
milk.
man. I've gone both ways through life. Like I like them heated up, and I've preferred them not.
But I also don't eat like I don't eat raw marshmallows, but I don't eat marshmallows that aren't like melty and gooey.
Sure.
So that's
Hey.
probably where my like aversion of the
Well,
Mhm.
plain s'mores
So,
Pop-Tart comes from.
I grew up eating more toaster strudel than Pop-Tarts, which you have to heat toaster strudel.
I
up.
hated toaster.
I love
strudel.
toaster strudels. You put the
Hate
icing
it.
on there.
I smear it with my finger just so that like you have extra icing. And I mean, for me, Pop-Tarts were kind of like, oh, well, why would you do Pop-Tarts when you can have toaster strudel?
I hated them, man. The smell made me sick to my
Really?
stomach. I
That's so
hated
weird.
toaster strudels. Pop-Tarts, though, I could do that all day.
Yeah,
Definitely
well,
Team Pop-Tarts.
and they keep coming out with new flavors of Pop-Tarts. So for me, I was like, well, let me start pairing Pop-Tarts with alcohol out of boredom. So then I just started buying, because I mean, they have like lemon meringue, they have grape, and I was like, what would pair with this? So I just started pairing Pop-Tarts and alcohol in the bathtub.
You've got the market cornered on
Yeah, I call it my lab, like it's
So this is a bit unprecedented with Brewsday Tuesday, but because I'm done with my beer and I don't want to steal more of the Danny Trejo beer from you guys, I'm going to go ahead and untap it, and I'm going to have you guys hand me one of those, and
Oh,
we'll
fair.
continue to keep drinking. So as expected, this is definitely a 5, 10.5%, man. It's sweet, not overly sweet. It's got the high ABV, but like a lot of these sleepers, man, you can't even really, I mean, I could tell, but it's not like, oh man, I'm sipping bourbon or anything,
Right.
which I
All-
would love as well.
all
But
the spices and stuff, and they really smooth it out.
yeah, I mean, just like the brewery, they know what they're doing. I mean, they always put out just crazy combos that just sound unbelievable, and it's no surprise that this is unbelievably amazing. So yes, it is definitely a 5. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. And then
And I can actually go ahead and do that
You
one
wanna
as
tap
well
this? All right.
because I'm not as stringent as you on the rules. So I don't know if either of you ever had Mexican hot chocolate.
I have.
I have,
I
yeah.
love a good Mexican hot chocolate, and that's kind of, I guess, obviously this would be cold chocolate, not drinking a hot beer. The way, like, it's got habanero in there, the guajillo chilies and the ancho chilies, but its spice blends so perfectly with the rest of it that like you don't get a lot of that burn. It's so well balanced and just very like crisp and delicious. So Hubbard's Cave El Zacaton is also, as much as I hate doing it, going to be a 5.
Well,
You
that's-
picked well, Josh.
I try to,
He's busted
to
out
read my order.
the big guns.
Yeah, I try to read my audience. So that's another one that I got through that app. And in my experience so far, everything that I have had out of Hubbard's Cave has been just phenomenal.
I'm not familiar with them. So where are they out of?
It's
Ohio,
outside of Chicago.
Illinois.
right out
Yeah.
of right out
It's
of-
just outside Chicago, maybe about half an hour outside.
Have you been there?
I tried to. The last time I was up in Chicago, I wanted to make a trip out of it, but then I got behind on time because they also have dispensaries in the state of Illinois.
You lose time when that happens.
I lost track of time and forgot all about it. No, but I've had, I think, 2 other ones. One of them literally just tasted like Hershey's chocolate syrup, but it was like a 12% Hershey's chocolate syrup. Another one I had, it was like toasted pistachio or something.
Oh yeah.
Just amazing beers. If I could get their stuff carried locally, I 100% would advocate for it. One of my favorite breweries that I don't feel like I've had enough of their beer.
Hubbard's Cave. I've never heard of them.
Yeah. I had never heard of them before that. Tried it on, like I said, higher ABV, barrel aged. I mean, you got me. So, you tell me something's a 12% and it's something that, has a lot of chocolate notes. I'm like, yeah, I'll try that out. And then I had it. And I was like, oh, where have you been my whole life?
Whenever you're looking at these, ordering these beers online or whatever, do you cross-reference? You check Untapped first?
I do.
You want it to be like at least, I'm sure 4 is the bare minimum. Is it even like, do you say it's got to be a 4.2 or above or something like
not
that?
Necessarily. I do usually check Untapped for a couple different reasons. One, to make sure it's something I haven't had before. And 2, actually, I don't usually need to check it as much. They actually advertise Untapped scores and Beer Advocate scores.
They're right there. Yeah.
So especially if it's one of the higher rated ones, they use that as marketing.
They'll brag about it.
Yeah, they'll be like, hey, this one gets a 4.27 average on Untapped. And, I don't necessarily look at other people's check-ins or look at what other people, claim their flavor profile to be. You can tell me, I trust you. So it sounds like something that's up my alley. Like it's in my shopping cart, unfortunately. So
what about that one? Is that one up your alley?
So yeah.
Adroit
I have
Theory?
the Adroit Theory. All I see is carrion. I love a good Belgian quad. This one, I feel like it's a very sneaky one. I feel like this one is so subtle that you could drink a couple of these and not think about it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I may have overserved myself.
That's all the writings for a good quad.
It does. It's got some nice like plum notes to it. It reminds me a whole lot of one that Chaos Mountain put out. Chaos Mountain being like out in Roanoke, I think.
No, just beyond, I think. Yeah.
So it puts me in mind of that. It's got some nice warm kind of plum notes to it that just smooth everything out. I feel like it's easily a 4.5. I would probably go 4.5 on that one.
4.5. And you didn't, I think that was maybe what I was thinking of. You didn't actually give us a score, I don't believe.
Oh,
on your last beer.
Clowns.
Yeah.
I think I would also go probably
4.5
a 4.5 on Gathering Clowns. And not because either of them are not great beers. They are, but I kind of almost feel like it's in comparison to the other delicious beers.
So just real quick, because I know that, our listeners are probably familiar with how we rank our uncapped scores, but how do you sort of rate it? Do you give out 5s very often? Like, would you say any of these beers we've had today are a 5?
Probably.
Yeah.
But, haven't hit the Abuelitas or the El Zacaton. I swear, I think that I've checked the El Zacaton in, and I'm pretty sure that I give everything out of Hubbard's Cave, not because it's who they are, but pretty sure I've gave all of their beers a 5. For me, 5s are a little bit rare. I'm not very frequent with them.
Yeah,
but I also don't really go underneath a 3.75 often either. I mean, you've got to really have something wrong with your beer for me to like rate you lowly, or just tastes like something's off. Like maybe the beer's flat.
I mean, a beer made you sick to your stomach and you gave it a 3.
Yeah,
so,
I'm pretty sure even that one I probably gave.
I think that tells you something.
Yeah. For me, it's I kind of stay within that threshold, but 5s for me are still relatively rare. Not it's not that I'd never do, but it's definitely rare.
Okay, fair enough.
So on the side of this, all I see is carrion. They something I love is when they put notes on like what you should pair it with. They've got food, cheese, which is apparently not
I
a
can even have
food,
music on that one.
cigar.
Right,
But what they're missing is Pop-Tarts.
Oh well.
Oh yeah.
Well, hold on. I'll let you know.
Yeah, you got to write them an email. Let them know.
Okay. Well, before we wrap up, Nate, did you come up with any sort of name for his beer in the bathtub? Well, shoot, that might be it right there.
Beer in the bathtub.
Beer in the bathtub. I was thinking it could be maybe brews and bubbles.
Tubs and suds.
I thought tubs. I also thought like kind of buds and suds or something
Booze
like that.
bath. And then you write it in like a cool metal font, like
A
blood
booze
bath.
Oh, all right. That's not too bad. All right. Got a
It's
couple
all
ideas.
the execution of the logo.
There's definitely
True.
something there. There's something there.
I definitely need to expand that because I feel like the people are just needing more of that in their life.
Well, first things first, it's just been like kind of little photos. You're gonna have to do a Facebook Live
I am.
or a video.
I did get a
little
rubber duck.
taste, a little tease.
I did
Oh,
get
there
a
you go.
dino duck to add to the ambiance.
A
if you
drinking
will.
buddy.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I have to have someone to talk to after I hit about 3 or 4 different, double-digit ABVs. I mean, I'm going to get bored. And I want to talk to somebody. So,
Do you remember all that? The show
do.
with Keenan Thompson, and he did Everyday French with Pierre Escargot
Yeah.
in his bathtub. You need a rain slicker and like a sweet like Gordon's Fisherman.
to go even older than that, I think part of it that made me think of it was Mike Myers' SNL skit back in the day where he did Simon in the bathtub.
Drawing.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Simon,
and I like to do drawings.
I think that's part of it. It's like, what would be fun if I just drank and ate breakfast food in the bathtub? And then I was like, I should just expand this market because post it on Facebook just because I like to amuse myself, not necessarily other people, but so many people like has such a positive like response to it of like, dude, I'm living vicariously through you.
Well,
right
it takes,
now.
I mean, there's the whole bubble bath and candles and wine or whatever.
That's not me. It's
And
beer.
then there's shower
Pop-Tarts.
beers
and Pop-Tarts.
I
love
shower
a good shower
beer.
beer.
Agreed.
Everybody's
Perfect
we've
way
all
to
done a
kick off
shower
the
beer.
Sunday.
I don't know if I've
Solid.
ever done a bath beer.
I-
I'm not a bath guy, but
I think
I
you're
don't-
missing out.
you could maybe start a revolution.
I think I would have to change my strategy for sitting in the bathtub because I'm not someone who can like lay down and.
Well, you're gonna have to.
drink.
There's got to be ways to comfort.
Well, dude, I'm 6'5".
I was gonna say you're huge. I don't know how
Yeah.
big your bathtub
Yeah,
is.
It's not
You're
6'5".
sitting. You're sitting
didn't
90
wanna
degrees,
ask,
and
but
your
you're
feet
like-
are hitting the.
It's
Tall as hell.
yeah. It's either my knees are up and my shoulders might touch, or I'm sitting at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
But you know what helps with that?
Beer.
Pop-Tarts and alcohol.
Yeah.
So I think that at some point maybe I'll expand it into like bourbon and bathtubs. But I'm going to try to really hone in on my target audience first with the beers and breakfast foods.
Well, we'll be happy to brainstorm a little bit more about that and have you in again because these beers were fantastic, Josh. Thank you so much for sharing and also just bestowing some knowledge and awesome craft beer and untapped tips and stuff that I think everybody should take home with them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to go home and take a booze bath.
Yeah.
If I've inspired anything, I hope it's just more drinking in the bathtub.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Have a beer in a bath and think of Josh. And we'll take a quick break and we'll get back with some tunes right here on 105.3 The Bear. Stick around.